In this video, we will talk about the worst mistakes men make in bed. Did you know that we release a hormone called oxytocin during lovemaking, which explains why we are happy after doing it? And we don't want to burst the bubble right after.
Nope.
Who wants a cold shower anyway? That is why, in this video, we've gathered 9 mistakes men make in bed so you can avoid doing so. By avoiding these steps, you can keep the happy bubble and just cuddle after the great intimacy. Let's start with number 1. Not enough lubrication.
It's not you, it's me.
It's not you, it's me is the most cliché explanation during a breakup that surprisingly applies to this mistake. A lot of women need a little moisture during lovemaking. And I say this with a lot of emphasis. It has nothing to do with men and their ability to turn a woman on. So, skip the pity party and head to your trusted store for water or silicone-based lubes. Trust me, your woman will thank you for it. There are phases in a woman's cycle where they don't produce enough moisture. For example, after their period. That is why you should start using lube. It will feel pleasurable for both of you. Never underestimate the power of lubricants. Now that we know the importance of moisture, let's proceed to touch. Number 2 is tough love. As much as you want it rough and go all macho, this isn't the best card to deal with. What we see sometimes online doesn't really apply in reality. Touching too hard may seem sexy, but that's not the case. Lovemaking should bring mutual pleasure, not pain. Or at least softer for starters, then gradually add some roughness. In that way, there's a compromise in the act. Aside from that, there's a science behind it, you see. Warm-ups are more important before working out. The same goes with intimacy. If you won't straight up lift a barbell, you also wouldn't get to it right away. Women's bodies need more time to get in the moment, lubricate, and relax. Most men make a mistake in handling the most sensitive spot in the female part. It is very sensitive that instead of pleasuring her, you'll end up hurting her.
Ouch!
Remember to show some soft love in that area and surely you'll push her to the edge. Sure, getting her to the edge is a winning moment, but pressuring her may delay it more. For the third spot, pressure. There is nothing more off-putting for a woman than asking her to climax. Stop asking her if she's near, or worse, asking her to get off already. That will pressure her more and leave her self-conscious, and as a result, this will shut down her desire. If that happens, prepare to sleep in the doghouse. Just kidding. Try to emphasize and think what you'd feel if you had a blue ball. That will surely leave her in a bad mood. Going on to our 4th, silent mode on. Did you know that women love hearing their men moan? On the contrary, men really don't verbalize during lovemaking. This is a mistake, and it can make her feel conscious. How would she know if you feel as she does? You can't just move there and stay silent. You are not in a library, for Pete's sake. Now that you know, maybe it's time to get loose at the moment and stop suppressing your pleasure sound. Maybe you haven't realized yet that your verbal reinforcements are what motivates your partner. It is your way of communicating what feels good without going all chatty and it sounds sexy in the ears of your lover, so give it a go. 5th, expectations. You must be expecting that she will communicate what she likes or doesn't like in bed. But mind you, not every woman is vocal with these kinds of conversations. So, if you're waiting for her to say something, chances are you're going to wait for a long time. We're going to cross out verbal communication for now and save it for another time. What you are going to look out for are her body language and her vocalizations during the act. Also, keep in mind that not all moans equate to pleasure. If she is moving away from your hand while you're touching a particular area, it simply means she's not down for that move. It would also help to ask simple questions like, does that feel good? Or, do you like it? Be receptive to what she has to say and always, always be gentle. This will pay off in the long run. It is a start for her to be open about what she likes, and soon enough, you'll both get your fair share of pleasure. Down to our number 6 is putting her on the spot. There is time for everything. There are questions that are supposed to be asked during or before intimacy. This can sour her mood. Avoid questions like, "Do I satisfy you with my size?" Or, "Is this the best you had?" Huge no. This isn't the time to talk about these questions unless your question would be, "Do you like to try some role play?" Or, "Do you like to try some toys?" Can you see the difference between the two sets of questions? The first two can break the mood, while the latter spices it up. Choose wisely. For our seventh, we have consent. This is one of the worst mistakes you can do. Assuming she's down to something just because she agreed to make love. One solid example would be going for certain holes without asking her first. This will make her feel uncomfortable and might turn her off, so be cautious and ask for consent. It's easy to assume that anal play is pleasurable for women because men enjoy being stimulated in that area. That is why one would think she'd enjoy it too. But there are some women who are down for this and some can't really stand it. Regardless, it's very important to know early on than to find out after. I can't believe we're down to our last two. Eighth mistake you should never do in bed would be monkey see, monkey do. You should set your expectations accordingly. You can't try everything you see in porn. One common example is expecting your woman to climax with lovemaking only. But the truth is, 80% of women need some action on the most sensitive part of their body for them to reach their climax. Also, it is fair to not expect women's bodies to be perfect. The sizes and shapes are different from one another. Going to our last number 9 would be not cleaning up before and after. Women are easily grossed out by men who don't clean themselves and those who mindlessly trash the place, like tossing out the used rubber on the floor or just leaving those used tissues around the place. This is something you should avoid. Also, it's important to take care of your hygiene. A smelly breath can halt the budding romance. We know that it's tiring and you'd love to stay and plop yourself in bed, but after the sweaty session, you must be considerate, especially if it is her place or bed. Your girl would appreciate some aftercare, so be considerate and head in the tub together before a good sleep. This mistake is often overlooked, and now that you know this, prepare a warm bath with her after your mind-blowing session. You'd both enjoy this for sure. There's nothing more relaxing than resting with a clean body. Now that we've shared 9 mistakes men make in bed, you already know the do's and don'ts for a great experience. Always remember that pleasure isn't a one-size-fits-all. What may be pleasurable to you may not feel good to others. That is why it's important to be receptive to others, guided by what you've learned in this video. You're off to better experiences. May the pleasure be with you.